Okay. What's up, guys? How's everyone doing? Interesting for you. Interesting video for you guys today. I don't know if you'll think it's interesting, but I thought it was interesting. It's a video I've been wrestling with for a little while. I received a cryptic message once, and it basically said, "Who is Scotty Lee Krahm?" Valid question, considering a lot of the name drops I've done over the years, like Scotty Krahm, Scott K. Smith, Sid, Ellie, Holiday, what, So if someone asked me today, who is Scotty? My name is Scotty Curtis Holiday, by birth. If someone asked me today, who am I? I'd simply say, man turning 50, starting over, who's a full-time bodybuilder. That's pretty much it. I wouldn't even mention bipolar disorder. I wouldn't mention Facebook. I wouldn't mention YouTube. The characters I portrayed, the characters I became, and in real life, the characters I lived, they're all a real part of me. They're a real part of me telling this story. The name Scotty Lee Krahm is a name of all these characters in one, from the day that I was born to the day I am today. Scotty Lee Krahm, the writer, the character, the videographer, the whatever, is all of that. Yeah, all of that. Some are played knowingly, some are played unknowingly. Each chapter definitely had its challenges, very unique challenges. Sid was definitely the most fun to play, because I was probably the character that was closest to being the real me. Because that was me for 40 years, right? 40 plus years. 40 and change, 45, whatever it is. That was me for that length of time. That was Sid. Where did that name come from? I think it's safe to say there was Sid, and then there was Sid X. Sid X, and then Sid the character come later. Once I realized it was Sid, then I was a character that was fun to play. You'll see some of those videos were really fucking towards the end of the later videos. I'm actually pretending to be this character. Whether I'm in hypomanic, full manic, I don't know. Doesn't really matter. The point being is, when I have a crazy idea, so I'm doing fucking crazy, that part of me comes out and voila, Sid. So where did he come from? Where did he start? Where did the name come from? Sid was, oh my god, probably 2013, Costco career, meat department. We had an assistant director, brand new assistant director. Of course, everything was getting all fucked up. A new guy's in, and all these, everything's getting screwed up. And, at the tail end of my career now, and I'm pretty much fed up with a lot of stuff. I believe at that point, my wife, my ex, whatever, had left me, so wasn't in the best of shape. Something happened during this interview. Not interview, but we had an altercation in our department, and I unloaded on this motherfucker. Won't mention names, but I try to hold to that now. I apologize. Earlier in my videos, I'd say people's names, and I apologize for that. I tried to edit and redo some of them that I could. Others, unfortunately, it's not possible to edit them at this point. But if I do something that's more, I don't know, mainstream or popular or something, I'll be sure to find a way to correct that, okay? So back to this assistant director I had. And I unloaded on this motherfucker, and I remember saying to him, it's funny, I can seem to remember things when I'm like psychosis, manic. It's funny how I can remember stuff in that state of mind, but I do, and here it goes. And I unloaded on this guy. And one of the things I said to him, I says, I'm here for life. you're a fucking tourist. You blow in and you blow out. All you fuckers do is leave a path of destruction wherever you go. You know, either you think you know what you're doing, or to find out and learn the business, you'll tear it apart in order to rebuild it. That way you can learn something. I get it, but I've had enough of it. Okay. Something happened during this blast for me. A gentleman I worked beside for the longest time. He's seen me from, he's seen all stages of my life, pretty much. He turned to me and he said, "What the fuck was that?" You know, apparently he sees something that he's never seen before, or definitely was not comfortable speaking up about it. Couldn't tell you what it was. Maybe it was a level of psychosis. Who the fuck knows? But, you know, I was always a pretty open guy. I was open about my drugs. I was open about my life. Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe it wasn't. I know I definitely had some reasons for being so open like that. I think it came from my warped sense of leadership. I didn't want to hide nothing. So if I'm not hiding nothing, I don't want you to hide nothing. Talk to me. Let me know what's going on in your life so I can manage you better. If you're lying to me, I can't manage you properly. You know, I don't know what the fuck you need because you're full of shit. So I think probably that's where my openness kind of came from. Because I wanted to maybe let people know I have all these faults, you know, but at least you know what you're getting. So, you know, there's no reason to walk on eggshells. You can tell me how you feel. You know, we can have an open discussion about whatever the fuck is going on. And I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so I don't really know. So like I said, we were open about my illness and my everything. So of course I tried to have a sense of humor about it, and somehow we came up with the nickname Sid. I think my buddy came up with it. The gentleman who works beside me. I think he came up with the name Sid. And then I think that was the first kind of revelation that I knew that something was going on. There was something. Of course, when I took medication in 2011, I was off. You know, I was throwing a new perception, but I couldn't really. There wasn't this huge distinction. I didn't know. I didn't understand the perceptions. It was still very fuzzy. It just scared the shit out of me. So in the meat department, this character Sid, I said, you know what? I thought to myself, you know, why don't I embrace this? The more I embrace this and try not to suppress it, maybe I'll learn about what the fuck this is. You know, so that was probably the beginning of, you know, of really, really recognizing that there's some shifts going on here, and I need to learn I need to find out what's fucking happening. You know, so that's where he kind of came in. Sid X was definitely after I've gotten fired. You know, that was a whole other level of Sid, you know. And those memories are with me forever. It definitely wasn't something that like I didn't go black on it. Like I have a very good memory of a lot of stuff. Some of it kind of warped, but the groundwork of the memory is still there. And then as time went on, you know, I really started to embrace this side of me, you know, this Sid side of me. And the thought process was like, is there any way that I could tap into this? You know, like, can I bring this on demand? Can I control this motherfucker? You know, and that's kind of how it went to this point. I haven't referred to that character in a long time. I think I made a post kind of saying goodbye to that character. You know, because there was a danger there's a danger in the way I do things. And, you know, there's times where, even though in early times of my life where Sid was who I really was, but there was times would be like, okay, now I'm playing this character, Sid. Oh, Jesus Christ, you know, that's supposed to end like after the video. You're not supposed to keep playing Sid 2, 3 days, 4 days afterwards, right? That could be a bit of a problem. So, yeah, so that's Sid. We'll save Ellie for last. Scotty. Okay, we talked about Scotty Krahm. How that name came about. Well, it started with the tattoo. I think I mentioned just before I got fired that I think I wanted to change my name to Krahm. I think just Krahm or something like that. Legally, I wanted to change it, but it wasn't until some episode in Fate of the West that I actually came up with the Scotty Lee Krahm part of it. I'm not sure which video it is, but it's in chapter Fate of the West. What is that? Chapter 4, I believe. 1, 2, Finding Krahm, Eat, Sleep, Train. Fate of the West, chapter 3, I believe, is when I come up with that name. Facebook, Scotty K. Smith. Well, that's kind of like a two reasons. First reason, there's like a lot of Scotty Smiths, right? I stopped using my middle name, which is Curtis with a C. So Scotty Curtis Holiday. I was adopted. I might have mentioned this before, and I took my my dad's adopted name, which is Smith. To this day, I go by Scotty C. Smith. The other reason why I dropped the C, this is a bit personal, but I'll share it with you. But let me remind you, even though this situation happened, I would never legally change the C. There was a conversation I had with my biological dad and I believe his wife. Not super clear on who said what. And this isn't a grudge thing. This is just a reminder for me. I once said, if I ever have a son, I'll make sure he gets the middle name Curtis, because my father's last name is Holiday. And I'm not sure which one said it, but one of them said, well, it doesn't matter because your last name's not Holiday anymore. I was like, fuck. Yeah, that's, ouch. That's a stinger. Of course, there could have been a lot of reasons for that statement on their part. It could have been, a lot of things going on there. After all, they're only human. I'm sure that wasn't meant to hurt my feelings. I think maybe they're just trying to express something that bothered them. Who knows? It doesn't really matter. That's not something I begrudge. It's something I've easily forgiven. But I don't want to forget something like that, because it's even though it's a small, simple thing, I want to remember when someone's trying to do a small gesture for you, even though you may think it's insincere or not relevant, or they could be full of shit, just hold your tongue, because you don't know for sure what's behind that statement from them. So your remarks could have quite the impact and a profound impact on that person's life, right? Finding Krahm, Chapter 1, was probably the most fun. Most fun because I was completely inhibited. I didn't give a fuck. I was free. I was free of my meat cutting career. I lost as fuck, mad as fuck, didn't know what I was doing. I was riding the SidX train to nowhere, but I was having the time of my fucking life. I was going crazy in Montreal, in this fucking city of dreams lifestyle, and just getting lost, and then coming back to Ottawa. As much as it was, Ottawa was my reality, even though I was manic as fuck, and but Ottawa was my reality, and Ottawa was my way. It was like this. I had this Montreal life, and I had this life, the Ottawa life, and I couldn't hold the line between the two anymore. It was either gonna go all this way or all that way. So eventually, I decided to go all this way. This path, not this path. So it was definitely a lot of fun. I felt free of all the chains. I felt didn't have the chains from Montreal. I didn't have the chains of the Costco. I didn't have the. I didn't know anyone a fucking thing, man. I was just being me, man. And it was so much fun. Chapter 2, that's same thing. It was a short-lived chapter, but it was dead serious. Like, I have to get in shape here because I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen to me down the road. So I gotta, even though I'm mentally as sick as fuck, I have to somehow get this body into shape. Because the road is gonna be long after this. Of course, I didn't foresee what was gonna happen, but Chapter 3, Fate of the West. Oh boy. Fuck. Fate of the West, I should change to just denial. Denial. Denial about everything. I was running. I was running as fast as I could to nowhere. And I was lying to myself about that. I was lying to myself about fucking everything. That trip was extremely humbling. I didn't find out who I was, but I definitely found out who I wasn't. No shit. A lot of truths got exposed to me on that trip. A lot of truth. A lot of truth. It was like a 100-pound sledge of truth. That's not including the truck. Throw an extra 80,000-pound hammer to that. And that's what it was. It was a big truth sandwich, It was, and the worst thing about it, sure, I was manic, sure, I was sick. But I do remember lying to myself on that trip. Maybe not so much in the beginning, but definitely a few days in. I couldn't tell you exactly what point that it hit me, or it started to entertain my thoughts, and I just fucking lied to myself the rest of the way there and the rest of the way back. Well, I shouldn't say on the way back. I faced that truth on the way back. And I think that's why things ended the way they did. It was obvious to me. I was at a point where I just couldn't lie to myself anymore. I don't think there's a sickness strong enough that can deflect that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. What's after Fate of the West? What do we got? Krahm Fitness, Art Road, RTO, I can't even remember. I don't even have it in front of me. Road to the Mr. O. Thank you very much. Krahm Fitness, then Road to Mr. O. That is probably the realest version of me. That you're going to see on a consistent basis. I mean, that's who I really am. Of course, the me today, and the me when that chapter began, course, I'm a little different. But I mean the core of me. I'm not acting. I'm not playing something. I'm not trying to get some point across. That's just me talking about my passion. You know, it was a little bit of a manic idea with the whole Krahm fitness thing in the beginning, but I knew it was a beginning. It was a start of something. I didn't know what it was. Okay, I'm interested in bodybuilding. Let's continue what we did in chapter 2. Eat, train, sleep, repeat. That was a continuation of that. I love talking about it. I love doing it. It's who I really am. It's what I had into me since I got my first bodybuilding book in 1983. That's the closest and the realest me you'll probably see. Maybe opposed to right now, but I think you get my point. Road through Mr. O, what does that mean? It means a lot of things. I think the real meaning is just chasing after your passion. That's what it means. It also means the road to the Mr. O, which could be the Mr. Ottawa bodybuilding competition. It could mean, God heaven forbid, the Mr. Olympia, Mr. O, it's referred to as that. But all in all, the road to the Mr. O is simply an example of following your dream, following your passion. That's my passion project. Well, this whole story is my passion project, but, at the heart of it, that's me, working out, bodybuilding videos. I really like doing those. Yeah. And then where we at? What's the next one? Krahm TV, the most fun. The channel with the most fun. I came up with that because there's times the manic in me, not the same character, but just I'm excited and I just want to do something. I'm bored, I'm edgy, and I have an idea, and I'm like, yeah, let's do this. No holds barred, like all inhibitions gone. Like I don't know how many of those fucking things I did almost naked. Just fucking out there, just being free, being open, being vulnerable. If something's bothering me, just let her fly, let her rip. It was just a way to vent and express myself without my hands being tied with anything, or answer this person or that person for saying something. I don't give a fuck. That was my channel to do that. It's a healing one, I guess, kind of in a way. And I could be whoever I wanted to be during Krahm TV. I could be serious. I could be Scotty Krahm. I could be Scotty K. Smith. I could Ellie. I could be Sid. Whoever fuck I wanted to be in Krahm TV, I'd be. Sometimes I'm very calm in Krahm TV. Sometimes I'm fucking out of control. Sometimes I'm really sincere. I can be whoever I want to be. I'm not stuck to a bodybuilding video or something personal or a story arc. I can be whoever I want to be and do whatever I want to do and be free as I want. So definitely my the funnest channel, the funnest chapter of this funnel. Then it was a new reality. Very, very difficult. Very difficult. This is where I was starting to really experience my non-manic perception. This is where I felt what you would consider as a normal perception for yourself is something that I was experiencing for the first time, and I realized I knew nothing about nothing. All I knew was what I learned through a manic lens. There was no non-manic perception. There just wasn't. So once, I'd see these, I'd have these perceptions, and I'm just like, I don't understand this. From a manic point of view, I understand it. So this was me starting really to experience life in a non-manic lens for the first time. It was never predictable. I never knew what was happening. But it was scary. It was exciting. I remember having a real problem with relationships and defining them, and the people who are close to me, whether it be on the phone or in real life, face to face, or it was fucking tough. I didn't make sense to me. Nobody made fucking sense to me. Everybody made sense to me. The old manic crazy man. Everyone made sense to me. No one confused me. I know exactly who the fuck I was talking to most of the time, and I put them in their fucking box, and that was it. Well, this new reality chapter, I can't put anyone in a box. People are so complicated, So yeah, that was that chapter definitely had its challenges. Definitely had its challenges. So 6. What is 6? Geez, I'm gonna have to actually look this up. let me write. Maybe should have wrote this down. It was Krahm TV, New Reality. So that was what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. New Reality. Still One Thing I Need. That's what it is. Is that it? Still One Thing I Need. And then Time for My Wants, right? Time for My Wants. Maybe I'm missing one. 9. No. 9 was Time for My Wants, right? I'm missing one. Still One Thing I Need. No, it's Time for My Wants. I'm missing something after New Reality, aren't I? Time to make things right. I'm missing one here. What the fuck am I missing? God damn it. I apologize. Fuck! Fate of the West. Road to Mr. O. Krahm TV. A New Reality. Still One Thing I Need. Time for My Wants. 9. I'm missing one. I'm gonna pause this video. I'll be right back. Okay, we got it figured out now. The triple R's. Reinvent, redesign, and rebuild. That was a chapter after the hospital. What the fuck am I gonna do? What can I say about that? That was just, fuck. That was a very blurry part. It didn't last very long. I think it lasted probably from the time I got out of the hospital to the time I moved here. Because when I first moved to here, it became a New Reality. So reinvent, redesign, rebuild. That was very well, terrifying is the right word, but I didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen. I was best way to describe that is completely 100% in fucking limbo. Not understanding myself, not understanding the world, not understanding, at one point, not even know where to live, no career, couldn't define anything, couldn't define anyone. I was looking desperately for solid footing. That was fuck. that was a tough few months. That would have happened from like June 2018 till probably March, April. I moved here April 2018. Yeah, so June 2017 to March of 2018. That's pretty much what that um, chapter was taken. There was, I even remember being really paranoid of a lot of things too back then. You know, I definitely was withholding a lot of stuff from you guys during that time. I mean, just personally, how I was feeling. I just didn't know how to interpret anything that was going on. Geez, what else I could say about that time? You know, it was like, purgatory. You know, I often joked about heaven and hell. Heaven kind of being in my manic state of mind, because, you know, honestly, I was just free as a bird. I just, you know, I had the one dimension, you know. I really didn't have worries, you know, like, as crazy as I was, as wild as I was, you know, I knew who I was. I wasn't in denial about nothing. I was open, I was free, you know, I was a wild child, you know, and purgatory would have been the step after that. And then, you know, kind of, once we got here, we kind of slowly just, you know, moved on, I guess. I don't know, I'm trying to describe something that happened 4 or 5 years ago, and it was, you know, my states were, I didn't even recognize what they were, and they were all over the place, and I think we covered enough of that. Maybe if I put more thought into it, I can give you more of an answer, but not right now. I just want to move on. All right, we did a new reality, right? Time for my, still one thing I need. I thought that if I could find the love of my life, that would be my key to finding the answers. Really, you know, I didn't think I could do this by myself. I'm like, fuck, I need a good woman by my side. You know, I desperately need a good woman by my side to help me the last way of this, to get me through this fucking final step, because I didn't think I could do it alone. You know, I just missed the affection too much. I missed love as a whole too much. You know, there was this hole. I didn't know how to fill it. I didn't fill it with drugs, promiscuous sex. It wasn't that. You know, that maybe promiscuous sex a little bit, but, you know, drugs turned to a different thing after that. But I had this emptiness. I wasn't trying to fill it with materialistic stuff. It wasn't that. It was just I left it empty because I didn't know what to fill it with. I wasn't filling it with anything artificial. Maybe my manic personality acting out was a way to fill it, but, you know, it was a very distinct time. Like, I remember February 2020, man. Like, I was in a fucking zone, man. Everything was fucking lined up. Everything was feeling good, you know. And the more successful and together my life became, the bigger this hole got, and I didn't understand it. And I thought it was love. I thought it was, you know, I thought I needed a good woman by my side. I think that's what that chapter was all about, you know. Then I realized it's probably not the best thing to do. The best thing to do is figure out a way to fulfill yourself, fill that hole on your own. You don't want to depend on anyone else to fill in all these empty holes. You need to do this for yourself. You need to get to your 99%. I think that's the idea that came from. And time to make things right. Simply crossing the T's, dotting the I's, taking everything in here and in here that bothers me, that I didn't understand, and tying it right the fuck off. You know, using COVID as a platform to deal with all this shit once and for all. Um, Knowing that we have limited time, and enough is enough. Like, let's fucking get this, let's get this ball rolling. It's time to deal with all this shit here. You understand your bipolar, you understand your shifts, um, you have control of your actions. Now you just gotta fill in the blanks, like fill in these holes you have left over. You got all the big stuff taken care of. Now you just gotta put the little holes together and fill the little holes, I should say, and tie this fucker off and let's go for it. Let's figure out what we're gonna do for the next 50 years or whatever, and attack it like there's no fucking tomorrow. And that's where we're at now. The message I received was it really made me think. I never really thought about talking about the characters or talking about my state of mind in each chapter, what I was feeling, what I was thinking. But I'll save the best one for last. Ellie. I wrote about Ellie in the post on Facebook entitled "She Had to Be a Superhero." Definitely by far the most hurtful and emotional character I had. By far. you know, I created her and lived through her, to confront things I may have been lying to myself about, or things I was too scared to talk about, or too scared to explore. There was no way to sit down in a normal state of mind and explore those things. Like, I had to really lose myself in a manic state in a character that could absorb the amount of time and patience and pain to absorb the truths of that part of my life. It's like, that was fucking intense. Why I couldn't be myself. I believe that character started earlier on as just a kind of a Facebook video Easter egg that I would plant, and it was a weird kind of a thing. It's kind of hard to explain, but it didn't really become a character in my mind, or what I saw, or what I faced across the kitchen table, until the chapter "It's Time for My Wants," and I started dating and really exploring what love meant. I think I actually even made a reference to her. I'd made references to her, I think, earlier on than that. Like, I remember one post in particular when I bought my new couch. I remember Ellie maybe represented my ex in a way. Ellie was the woman that I needed. The woman that I needed. That's who she was. So on the couch, I'm trying to explain to her, like, I know maybe I'm buying drugs and I'm paying for sex, or I'm spending my money on things that you don't quite understand, Ellie, but here's a brand new couch. It's a baby step. It's not like I'm foregoing everything. It's just there's part of my mental health that I need to explore, and the money, the resources have to go to that, and I can't give you the material shit that you need. So I'm like, what I'm getting is that? So I'm trying to explain to Ellie, as if she was my real wife or girlfriend, that, don't give up on me. I wish I could explain to you why I have to put this craziness you don't understand before a new couch. But hang in there with me, and you'll eventually see. So the post I made, "She Had to Be a Superhero," is explaining all that, and explaining as me coming to terms with the fact that, here, it's just not all my fault. It was your responsibility too, and this is what I needed you to do. If you're curious or you haven't read that post, I encourage you to check that out. It's pretty fucking deep. Pretty fucking deep. I looked back into the relationship with my ex, like with eyes wide open, and I explored everything I possibly could. I was honest with myself with every possible aspect I could. That particular piece of writing was compared to Sid City, like maybe even a little bit longer. As far as manic time put in, like I didn't sleep for days. I was continuing to writing at work. It took everything out of me. It was my thoughts 24/7 was this piece of writing. It showed its face. Ellie showed her face a little bit. I did a piece called Fault versus Responsibility. It was a little bit before that. It was when I was dating this woman named Dayton. She was black. I briefly got into it, but she was. I told you that this woman Dayton. I learned a lot from her, and that Fault versus Responsibility piece that I wrote on Facebook is what I learned and experienced through Dayton and from Dayton. A short time we were together. How do I end this? Because I think it's a pretty long video. Yes, like I said, who am I today? I'm Scotty K. Smith, and I'm a full-time bodybuilder, and I'm almost 50 years old. I'm starting over. That's who I am. So I see you guys again. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other.